Derek and Steve present You Heard It Here Second.
Welcome to You Heard It Here Second. I am Derek.
And I am Steve.
And we are back for episode 171. Steve, how's it going?
Derek, it's going well. I see you in high definition now.
High def.
This is high def. We are working with a new system.
Yep.
It's officially called Riverside.
Yep.
And we're calling it Riverside? Is that we're just like, we're logging onto Riverside? Or what are we talking about here?
Riverside.fm is the platform we're now using. I think it's a commonly used platform for a lot of the kind of big time podcasts. It's very easy to use and have remote guests and everything. So for the first time in quite a while, it was a flashback to our old days here where I actually pushed a button to play that sound and Steve heard the intro while I heard the intro while we began podcasting. So
that's a little inside. Effects. Yeah, that's a little inside baseball for all the listeners. So it has been probably what, 20 weeks, maybe more, 20 episodes since we've heard the sound effects that you hear. Derek usually puts them in afterwards, and we just know when to pause and when to laugh after them and stuff. It's very weird to do it silent, so it's nice to hear the intro again.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it's been even longer than that because the last time, well, at least for the full podcast to have all of the sound coming through both of our headphones, that you have to throw that back to when we were physically in person and we had the mixer in front of us and had all the audio going into the mixer, right?
So you currently have all of the sound effects in front of you?
I have a subset for today, so I have
Taco Bell news.
A few there. There you go. Testing my reaction time there. We got a few of those. We have obviously our segment sound effects and everything. So we'll see how this goes. And the other thing Steve mentioned off the top that he sees me in clear high def. We also have some better video recording capability with this one. So we'll see if we can make it a little bit easier to have those social clips that we can post on Instagram or TikTok and things like that for some of the funny segments if we have any. So
I'm gonna have to get a better background now.
I know. Now we got to start background hunting and getting all the lighting and everything else. So episode 171, we do have a couple of shout outs to start out the episode, although I guess that was one of them was our new system. Steve, you want to kick off the second shout out?
I do. I would like to shout out Boston College 10-year reunion.
10, yeah. Yep. Quick puke.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, it is.
That's disgusting.
10. A decade.
A decade of not being in college.
And when you got to college, a decade before that, you were 8.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
What is happening to us? 10 years? We're just aging? We're just aging? We're going to continue aging forever?
Yep.
Ugh.
Yeah. Not great.
I mean,
not great.
This shout out is actually to celebrate and remind people of Boston College reunion, not just to be sad how old we are. But I am going. I will be there. Derek is going. He will be there.
Hopefully.
What do you mean hopefully?
I told you I'm going to be in Florida. I'm going to be in Florida for a conference, but I'm going to hopefully be able to swing by the first night of it. But the Saturday morning of reunion, I fly to Fort Lauderdale for a work conference.
That's dumb, and I don't remember you saying
places.
That. I must have blocked it out. Anyway, Derek will be there Friday. I will be there Friday, Saturday. I already have my flights, so it's happening.
Love it.
We're not doing the whole every single the day barbecue and the tour and the blah blah blah. We're doing the Friday night thing at Lawn on D, which is downtown Boston, and we're doing the on-campus thing Saturday night just to see the people you miss. I'm not doing any small talk with anyone I don't want to talk to. We are seeing our buds in Boston and celebrating 10 years. So be there. And don't even think about being square. Just be there.
Yeah, right. It's one option.
Just be there.
And a special shout out to longtime listener, longtime caller, James Murphy, who actually requested that we shout out the reunion on the episode, but we already were planning to anyway. So we figured we'd redirect the shout out to Murph, who is very involved with reunion planning and kind of alumni outreach and things like that. So you've heard his voice on the pod before, and credit to Murph for all the work that he does with the reunion and BC alumni work and everything else. So
do
quick
it
shout out for Murph. Yeah, do it for Murph. Just do it for Murph. So that wraps up the opening shout out.
One last thing.
One more, yeah.
I think the deadline to register is like 2 days after you're listening to this podcast. I think it's the 20th or so. So like Friday, this Saturday, May 20th. So get it done. Go quick.
Hurry up. Got to do it. So that wraps up the intro. And I guess without further ado, anything else you got? Or we'll just go right to sports.
Let's just go right to it, Derek.
Let's just do it.
The Monster Jam.
All right, so sports. Hearing again the sound effect live.
I am loving the sound effects again.
It just gets you in the zone, right, to talk about the topic.
I'm ready.
Because we need to be in the zone because we got a lot of losing to talk about here.
We do.
So
you especially.
The last time that we talked, both of our teams. We're starting with NHL. Just get this out of the way. Rip the Band-Aid off, Steve. Both of our teams were looking at promising playoff runs. One because of a historical season. One because they are a known commodity, this time of year, right? In the Lightning. Both of our teams with very, very disappointing first rounds. Of course, my team a bit more disappointing than your team, given the stakes in the situation, I think.
Yep.
The Bruins' historic season continuing on the trend that I talked about last podcast, that we said all of these President's Trophy winners, all of these historic 60-plus win teams, they don't go all the way. In fact, many of them fall flat on their face early. And the Bruins, despite going up 3-1 in the first round, fall to the Florida Panthers, who are now in the conference finals. So I have a follow-up question about that for you in a little bit. But Bruins lose to the Panthers in the first round. They're out. They're faced with lots of self-reflection questions as we go forward to next year, because when people use the term all in, the Bruins were all in. Like, the Bruins pushed salary chips to the table. They made trades. They traded first round picks. They were all in, and by all accounts, it was working. And then, as they say in hockey, they say you can run into a hot goalie. I'm not sure that was actually what happened here. They ran into a hot team, and they also sort of, crumbled themselves from the way they had been playing. So Bruins fall shockingly in the first round. Lightning fall to the Maple Leafs, who win their first playoff series in a gazillion years, only to then lose to the Panthers in 5 games.
Immediately.
What's your takeaways? I know you probably haven't been following as closely since the Lightning got knocked out, but what's your takeaways from the NHL playoffs?
The most important thing here is that the Lightning are no longer the laughing stock. I have been through this, Derek, exactly. Yeah. The Lightning tied the record. They were a juggernaut. This is what, 2020?
Yep.
2019?
18 years.
2019. Tied the most win records. They were just demolishing teams. Got swept first round by the Blue Jackets, 4-0. And it hurts so much more when there's expectations. Like, the Lightning went in this time kind of limping into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And won a game. We're like, oh, exciting, whatever. But then lost. Like, all right, well, we didn't truly have it this year. So I know the feeling of going in as President's Cup winner, all the expectations on you, and losing in the first round. And it doesn't just stink as a fan. It stinks because other fans are like laughing at you.
Yeah.
It's really embarrassing.
Yeah. You're the center
tell
of
me
attention
about your embarrassment
for all the other fans, right? Like, the other fans, no other fans in the league are saying anything about the Lightning. Like, whatever, the Lightning lost. Like, the Lightning used to win the last couple of years. They lost this year. Big deal, right? You become the center of attention when the expectations arrive on you, right? And you sit there and it's tough. Like you almost can't even. In overtime too, in Game 7 is one of those. It's just like that moment of like disbelief. It's like, wow, like they actually because like in hockey, unless you're losing, like there's always that. Well, they're probably still going to win. Like until we're against the wall at the end of the game, it's like, oh, we're actually going to lose, right? When it goes to overtime, it's like, like they're still going to win. Like it's just going to be a real scare, right? And then when you give up the overtime goal, it's just like there's probably no more deflating like arena vibe than giving up an overtime goal in hockey in Game 7, right? Like it's like
that might be true.
The arena just goes dead silent and people just immediately start walking out, right? It's like all at the same time. Not like other sports, you might have a gradual departure of the fans, right, down the aisles, right? So yeah, brutal opening round. The related question I had for you is more of a general one when tying it back to, we're not going to talk too much about the conference finals, right? I mean, the Panthers and Hurricanes are in the Eastern Conference Finals, Stars and Golden Knights in the West, exciting matchups for a neutral hockey fan, certainly. But my question for you as, just in general sports fan, I'm using the Bruins example here because I don't personally know the answer for me. Does it make you feel better or worse when a team that, stunningly upsets your team ends up making a deep run and maybe wins it all? Like, does it make you feel better or worse or neither?
I think it depends on the person. It's a good question, but my initial thought is better. You want the team that you lost to win it all. Although it's weird because now, like, the Lightning lost the Maple Leafs, and the Maple Leafs were like jerks, and they had some bad calls, 3 overtime losses, and the Maple Leafs lost immediately, and I'm like, good, screw the Maple Leafs. But I don't know. But that's because it's very specific to my team. Yeah. At that moment, I don't know. I right now watching like, if you're the Bruins, you definitely want the Panthers to win, but the Lightning just lost the Maple Leafs, and I'm like, screw the Maple Leafs.
Yeah. I mean, it's as weird as it sounds. I feel like there's a little difference between wanting them to win and it making you feel better. You know what I mean? Like, make you feel better about the loss. You know what I mean?
You want them to lose, but it will make you feel better if they win.
Yes. Like, for example, I don't remember what the Blue Jackets did that year that they swept the Lightning. But if they let's say the Blue Jackets got swept the very next series, you'd be like, geez, like, that's so annoying. They just swept us. Like, and then we would have kicked the crap out of the next team because they got swept, right? But instead, like, so the Panthers go on and they beat a really good Maple Leafs team, and now if they go and beat the Hurricanes, it's like, okay, was that really so much of a fluke, or is this Panthers team just like ridiculously good all of a sudden, right? And so it doesn't make you feel better that much better because you still should have won, right? But anyway, just a little side note question that I've been struggling with myself,
Yeah.
So
it's a tough time to be a Lightning and a Bruins fan.
It is for sure.
Tougher time to be a Bruins fan, though.
Yes, I agree with that. Anything else in NHL playoffs?
No, just I was rooting for the Kraken. Yanni Gord is my boy. He was a Lightning. He was on the Lightning for a long time. They lost, so now I think I'm rooting for the Panthers. But I thought didn't you guys kind of hate the Panthers from rivalries a few years ago? I hate them, but I think it's like I know them more than I know the other teams because I hate them. Yeah. And there wasn't that much bad blood this year with them, so I think the Panthers. But that's
there you go.
Yeah.
I think Vegas. Mainly, Vegas has Bruce Cassidy as their coach, Bruins former coach last year, who all season long everybody was like, oh yeah, like correct move, like switching coaches, right? Because like you had the best team in history, right? Clearly you made the right move, and now he's the one who's still standing. But but I think I'm rooting for them. I always liked him, and Vegas. I think hasn't won it yet. They've made it. They've been close. So I think I'll be rooting for Vegas. So if nothing else for hockey, that transitions us into the NBA, where we're also down to 4 teams. The NBA salivating right now, I'm sure, at the idea of the Celtics and Lakers still being alive. Yeah. So the final 4 teams in the league, we have actually, interestingly enough, a direct rematch of the bubble playoffs. The conference finals in the bubble. All 4 was the Nuggets and Lakers out west, and the Celtics and Heat in the east. Of course, that year it was Lakers Heat, and the Lakers beat the Heat in the finals. So, to the extent that you've watched the NBA playoffs, what are your thoughts overall?
I watched more NBA playoffs than NHL after the Lightning were gone. I like these matchups. I like all these teams just as a neutral. I'm not a neutral observer, but just as like a not a fan of any of them. I think Heat Celtics has all the drama you want. Jimmy Butler's like very fiery. The Celtics are really, really good. Anyone can score at any time. I think that's going to be a wonderful matchup. And then you got LeBron. And then you just like can't get rid of LeBron. I love it.
And Jokic, right?
And Jokic, but LeBron is inevitable. And this is kind of a separate question for you because I had this argument with friends. You don't like LeBron?
I don't. It's not as bad as it used to be for me, but I don't. Yeah.
So I used to not like him, but I've come around to liking him.
Right.
I'm of the mindset that if I don't care about any of these teams, I'm going to root for LeBron James because he has the opportunity to become the best player of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Truly. Like,
Yeah.
there's the debate now. Is it him, Jordan, Kobe, blah, blah, blah. Let's say LeBron wins 2 more titles with 2 more teams. Like,
Yeah.
he will be the best player of all time.
I think
hands
one.
down.
I think one could do it. I mean,
Maybe
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't you want to say, like, you grew up watching the best player of all time?
Mm-hmm.
Like, years down the road, you want to talk about LeBron like our dads talk about Jordan. You want to say, I saw him do all the stuff.
Right. Right.
That's my thought process with LeBron. So I'm rooting for the Lakers. I want Lakers Celtics, although I wouldn't mind Lakers Heat. I think if the Nuggets get in, it's going to be lame, no matter who plays.
I mean, and it's a shame because Jokic is such a fun player, but I just think the Nuggets they don't have the like mass appeal, like the juice, right? And for all you for the conspiracy theorists out there, right? I mean, that's what you're going to lean on if you see that the calls might start benefiting a potential Celtics Lakers matchup, right? Like that, you'll have the conspiracy theorists running wild with the fact that that's what the NBA wants in the Bill Russell year, right? Like the honorary Bill Russell, like the 6 on every NBA court and on all the jerseys.
Is it? Oh.
Yeah, like because he passed away at the end of last season. Mm-hmm. To get the Celtics Lakers, LeBron Celtics, right? Like the Celtics getting back to the finals a year after they lost to the Warriors against LeBron, who in early in his career had all that trouble against those Celtics teams and then broke through. And there's a ton of storylines packed into Celtics Lakers without all that. And then you add the LeBron Celtics element to it. The NBA certainly would not be upset if that was the matchup. But so we'll see. The Celtics have to use a not always sports phrase, but they've been playing with their food a bit. You know what I mean? Like they, with the Hawks, they took them 6 games, a team that they shouldn't have probably gone 6 against. And then the Sixers take them 7, really. And the Celtics, needed a late comeback in Game 6 to even keep their season alive. And then they obviously have the historic Tatum performance in Game 7 to really blow them out. But we'll see. Lots of storylines there. But
who are you rooting for?
I think I'm rooting for the Celtics. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought about it, but I think that's what I'm going to root for. So yeah, we'll see. We'll find out how these conference finals matchups go, but I think they will both be good series, hard fought. On the Celtics Heat one is on paper one of those that it's like, I think ESPN Analytics tweeted out, like their analytics thing says the Celtics have a 97% chance of winning. It's like, okay,
what?
Like these teams have met in the conference finals 3 out of 4 years, and Jimmy Butler's been an animal every playoff series he's played in the last like 5 years. Like, how can you say 3% chance? Like that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
Like. So anyway, we'll see what happens with those playoff series. Anything else on those?
No, I'm excited.
All right.
I kind of skip, like I fast forward to the conference finals for NBA,
right.
and now we're here. I'm excited.
Yeah, exactly. The only downside is that the games always are so late once you get to the conference finals. They all start at like 8:30, 9 o'clock. So last topic on NBA before we move on is the draft lottery, which was actually like right before we recorded here. The Magic had, I think, 2 shots, right? Did they have 2 shots to get it?
They had a 9% chance.
9%
I didn't know what the it worked out to be for their however
in total,
many shots.
their chance was 9%.
They had a 9% chance of getting the number 1 pick. Who would be
Victor Wembanyama, I think.
Wembanyama.
Yeah, I don't remember how to say his name.
I always say Wembanana.
Wembanana, there you go.
Wembanana. He the 7'4" freak from France, a spectacular basketball player. Like the next, there's always like, the next X, Y, or Z, the next generational player. There's always one of those. Yep. Like Zion was that guy a few years ago, like generational talent. Now he's just like pretty good.
Simmons, right?
Always hurt. Ben Simmons. Yeah. So who needs Wembanana? Not me. Not the Magic. I was desperate for him. Tank for what is it? Bomb for Banyana or what? Bomb for anyway.
So it won't be the Magic who get the pick.
6.
It will be the San Antonio Spurs, who are one of these historic, recently dominant franchises that has fallen all the way to the bottom, and now they get the pick they need, right, to try to turn their franchise around. So we'll see if that works for them. Spurs pick first, then Hornets, then Trailblazers, and then the Magic pick at 6 and 11. So they will still get two hopefully very good players in this draft, just not the very top of the draft class. So anything else on lottery? Quick hitter there.
No. I mean, all year you're like, oh, who's going to get Wembanana? And now we're here. It's still a little deflating. I'll be honest. A little deflating.
No bananas. No bananas. For the Magic. So brings us to our final sports topic, which is Major League Baseball. And one thing has not changed since we last podcasted, which is that the Tampa Bay Rays continue to be a wagon, although maybe slightly less degree than they were the last time when I think they hadn't lost yet.
Slightly less of a wagon, but we it's like early midseason baseball. We would never talk about baseball at this point in the podcast unless the Rays were the best team in baseball, which they are. So give them the respect they deserve.
Yep.
Did you hear about Randyland, Derek?
I don't believe so, no.
So every Friday, the Rays play in their throwback uniforms. It's like a big, every home game, every Friday home game, it's like a big celebration. You can buy a section. It's in the outfield at one of the short porches called Randyland. And you show up you buy a ticket to Randyland. It's like a section. You get a T-shirt with like Randy's face on it. They hand out big like fat heads of him and his name and stuff. And if he hits a home run, you get a free beer.
Wow!
They give you a ticket for a beer. For the first, I'm not kidding, against the Yankees, I think it was Garrett Cole. The first Friday with Randyland, Randy's first at bat home run. It's like him to a T. The guy loves the spotlight.
Yeah.
The brighter the stage, the better he does. He's like, oh, it's the first Friday of Randyland, and if I hit a home run,
gotta do it. Yeah.
First at bat, boom. So Randyland's the new promotion. We're all excited about it.
Yeah,
the Rays are back.
More promotions for Randy. I mean, just convince that guy's brain that it's the World Series every at bat,
exactly,
and you'll have a 650 hitter with 75 home runs. So
100%.
So there you go. Randyland is alive and well. Pitch clock seems to be continuing to go pretty well for the most part. I still see here and there some quirks of pitcher called for it because he was too quick, or batter called for it because he wasn't looking. And there are a few that I think people are still adjusting to, but it was always inevitable that you were going to need to have some adjustment period in order for this to work, right? I mean, you couldn't just snap your fingers and everybody's like, all right, yep. There's going to be some growing pains, but overall, I think they've been relatively manageable. What do you think about the pitch clock?
Yeah, I don't think that there's been a game decided on a pitch clock violation or a new rule violation. So you hear about them and you're like, okay, move along. You forget that baseball is so long and there's so many pitches and so many at bats. One strike, one ball here and there for whatever reason. I mean, it matters to them, of course. It matters in the moment, but for me as a fan, works for me, whatever.
Exactly. So I love that it keeps it moving, keeps the games on a pretty good schedule, and can't complain at all. So.
Pitch clock's here to stay.
Success, definitely here to stay.
Here to stay.
Anything else on sports?
Nope. Let's talk to the fans.
Let's talk to the fans.
So why don't you slide in my DMs? What? My DMs. In my DMs. What? My DMs. What?
All right. So, talking to the fans, we have one question today. So the spotlight's all going to go to Rob, who submitted an excellent question. Here is Rob's question.
This is a great question.
This is a great question. At what point does a grilled cheese become a melt? So I guess it's two questions, because the second question is kind of not the same question, but I'll read them both and we can discuss.
Yep.
And if you make a grilled cheese on a panini press, is it a panini or a grilled cheese? So
I think I have an answer.
Okay. Let's hear it.
I'm a big sandwich guy, as the listeners and Rob know.
Mm-hmm.
So the question, at what point does a grilled cheese become a melt? I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, Derek, I don't think you could have a melt without anything but cheese. It would have to have something more than cheese, right?
I think so too.
Would you ever say I'll get a melt, or that's a nice melt if it was just cheese?
Just melt. Yeah.
So I think the point of no return from grilled cheese to melt, because you can still have grilled cheese with toppings. You can have grilled cheese with pork, grilled cheese with tomatoes. I think it becomes a melt when the topping to cheese ratio tips to the topping side. I think once it becomes 50.1% other ingredient,
51% turkey, 49% cheese. It's a turkey
turkey melt. 49 turkey, 51 cheese.
Grilled cheese with turkey.
Grilled cheese with turkey.
And
I'm sticking to it. That sounds logical. And I think that's right.
So what about in a 3-ingredient scenario? Like, is it 50% cheese threshold, or is it
you
the
already
majority
know
ingredient?
Yeah, it's a comparative negligent state. It means as long as it's over 50 other ingredient, melt.
Right.
So all other ingredients combined
versus cheese. Right. All right. I like that.
And all cheeses. So
right. Of course.
And like a Gouda and a cheddar and a blah 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 all count as cheeses, and all the other stuff count as other ingredients.
Some of the cheeses 51%.
Grilled cheese.
Some of everything else 49%.
Grilled cheese.
You are still in grilled cheese territory. Right.
Correct. You're just grilling cheese. That's what you're doing.
It's all you're doing.
But you've got some toppings.
I like it. So, part 2, if you make a grilled cheese on a panini press, is it a panini or a grilled cheese? I think it's still a grilled cheese.
I agree with you.
Because so I guess the follow-up question is what is the difference between a panini and a melt?
Okay. Well, panini has to be made
on a panini press.
Has to be on a panini press. Has to be pressed.
Yes.
Has to be. Can't be grilled on a flat iron. Has to be pressed.
Right.
The question I'm not going to get into multiple dimensions of.
No. Yeah. So paninis are subsets of melts, right? Like we just had the melt versus grilled cheese discussion, and anything that was over 51% cheese is a grilled cheese, right? So even if you make that on a panini press, it doesn't matter because it's a grilled cheese, right?
Right.
But if you drop below the threshold on cheese, like so if you have 49% cheese in what you'd classically call a tuna melt, let's say, or a turkey melt or something.
Yes.
But you make that on a panini press, it would become a turkey panini.
You are correct. So if you put a 49% topping, 51% grilled cheese on a panini and you press it, it's still a grilled cheese.
Still
with
a grilled
toppings.
cheese.
Yes.
I agree.
Yep.
I agree.
So there you go.
So,
Rob. That's your answer.
So there you go. Simple, not hard.
Not hard. Very easy.
So that's it for the DMs. Thank you to Rob for the excellent question. It was one of the most thought-provoking we've had in a while. So I think that's a good
quick follow-up question. What's your favorite grilled cheese other topping if you only pick one?
Only one.
Yeah. If it has to be a grilled cheese with a thing.
That's a good question. If you can only pick one. Like my mind immediately went to turkey. I usually am a turkey guy, but I don't think if I can only pick one.
One of the lamer answers.
I think bacon. I think probably bacon.
That's
if I can only pick one.
I mean, I've got lame answers too, but the grilled cheese with tomato is spectacular.
It is.
That's a classic.
Yeah.
Pulled pork.
Ooh,
pulled pork on a grilled cheese is so good.
So okay.
So good.
I agree, but I have to be a little bit. I'm a little suspect of only having 49% pulled pork though. Like because when my mind goes to pulled pork, I'm imagining that's going to be a higher percentage than 50% versus the cheese, right? Because I just feel like that would not be a lot
Derek,
of.
You now know if when you order a grilled cheese pulled pork, it's not going to have that much pork. You know.
I know. That's my point. I'm saying I don't know if I like that because I feel like if you're going to have the pulled pork, I feel like it should be a higher ratio than the 50% is what I mean. So.
But then order a pulled pork sandwich with cheese, dude.
No,
I agree.
Something else. I agree. But you asked about the grilled cheese,
Order a panini.
I would.
Order a pulled pork panini.
So there you go. There's your panini grilled cheese news of the week. So thanks to Rob for that question. Think that brings us into our next set of topics, which I believe is a fan favorite. Is that right?
I think it's everybody's favorite, Derek.
That's true. Yeah.
I will say that intro is a little longer than I remember.
Yeah.
That one's a little long.
Yeah, when you got to wait for it, you know.
It's a good one though. I will. And another more inside baseball. These are put together by us, obviously.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we take different sound effects and mash them together and make these sound effects.
That was like some random like jazz like riff with like a fireplace.
Yeah, we don't just like rip a sound effect from somewhere. We build it.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is a very relevant cozy book corner, Derek. Have you heard of the book Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow?
I have not.
Google the cover right now, and I guarantee you've seen it. Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. Yeah, it is the popular book right now. It's the one with the Japanese waves on the cover with some like rainbow colors. It's a very, very noticeable cover. We finished it. I'm reading it as part of a book club. Book club's back.
Nice.
We haven't had the book club yet, but it's going to be an intense book club. This book is sad. This book, I was almost crying on the airplane. I was almost crying on an airplane, Derek. It is it is no joke, and it's not usually my type of read. Like, I'm not a big like get into your feels, like 2 or 3 friends and their long journey and blah blah blah. Like, it's not usually my style.
Yeah.
However, I gave this book an 87% Steve Nicholas avocados.
All right.
I didn't certify it guac on Goodreads because it's close, but for purposes here, I'll certify it. It is a very, very good book. It's also about a group of friends who start a video game company. So there's some entry points for guys. I know that's weird to say, but like it's an emotional book about video games, which is weird. So highly recommend. If it's very popular right now, everyone's talking about it. If you're thinking about it, just do it. It's a very quick read. It's well written. It's very simple, and it's emotional. And I don't get that emotional, Derek. Not me.
Wow.
Not never.
Hey,
you won't catch me showing feelings. You won't catch me showing feelings.
Except for this one. Except for Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow.
Except for
today,
Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. Not
tomorrow,
today.
Tomorrow and Tomorrow.
Right. So, very honest, very heart wrenching, and like toxic relationshipy, and
all right.
Really good. Really, really good.
All right. Marking it down. 87% can't be ignored. So
can't be ignored.
We're going to put that one on the short list for sure. So there you go. Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. 87% and give it a read. I know I'm going to add it to the list. So that does it for Cozy Book Corner. Wait, say it again.
You wouldn't like it. It's not your style.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see.
So that does it for Cozy Book Corner. Brings us into a randomly added topic that we have. We're doing tons of inside baseball here, so we'll do a little more inside baseball. When we make the agenda, we'll create the document, and then like whoever of us has time first. A lot of times it's Steve who will do the initial like dump of like what topics we might talk about, and then I'll go in and I'll add some ideas, and we'll kind of refine what we talk about in the episode, right? So Steve had a bullet point in there that just said AI with a question mark, and like AI is kind of hot right now, right?
Yeah,
like,
it's a topic.
Everyone's talking about AI, like it's going everywhere, and so. You may have heard of Chat GPT, and I'm sure you have. Most people have seen it at least somewhere. I know if you go on LinkedIn right now, you can't really even avoid like all the AI and Chat GPT stuff and the different uses that people are finding for these language AI models, right? So I decided that we had to try something. So what we did, for those of you who haven't used Chat GPT, you basically give it a prompt. Like you ask it to do something. Yeah, go ahead.
How did you get to Chat GPT? Did you just Google Chat GPT like website?
Yeah, so like OpenAI, I believe is the name, is like the company that has it. It's like open source, it's like an open source AI engine. You have to make an account to be able to use it on the computer. They also have an app, I think, that you can just download and use, but there's like a limit on like how many characters you'll get back or something from a given prompt or something like that. But so I actually had like experiment, like at work, we were looking at some stuff about like AI and things like that. So I had created an account. It's just like you put your email in and probably they get to use your data for what you ask it and stuff. So, but I just, have an account on it, decided to go in and I've played around with it with some things before. Like there are actually some pretty like good uses for it. Like you can, you could give it the entire transcript of this podcast episode, for example, and you could say like, based on this podcast transcript, like tell me a summary of 10 bullet points of what Derek and Steve talked about, right? And it would pretty accurately, give you a summary, right? It's a language AI. It's just like, processing language and it's able to intelligently speak back, right? And like put things in good context. You've seen people all over the internet do things like, write me a Drake song about like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and like it'll write back lyrics of a Drake song, and so it's like kind of alarmingly accurate at times, right? Yeah. So anything you want to add before I get to the experiment that we ran?
No, because the experiment is hilarious.
Okay.
Just AI is the new topic. We'll learn more about it and talk more about it. People are doing much more with it than we are. This is our first foray into
true.
AI.
That is true.
I'm afraid of it. It scares me. I want AI to do the dumb jobs, like my job, not like write poetry and do like art, which is like we're making AI do the cool jobs instead of the stupid jobs.
All the AI generated art and stuff. It's definitely there will be for sure moral crossroads that we reach sooner than later when it comes to this stuff, right?
Yeah.
For instance,
but that's for next episode.
That's for next episode. For this episode, but along that same line is like writing, right? Like screenplay writing or poetry, like you said, and creative things, right? Yeah. So,
well, if this is any indication, it won't be that soon.
Here is. That is true. This should make you feel better about AI because we are a little ways away. So, here's the prompt that I gave Chat GPT. So what I'm about to read is everything I gave it. This is all the info I gave it. Everything else, it decided how to create this result. Okay. So what I said, write a comedy sketch, including two podcasters named Derek and Steve, who went to Boston College. Derek is 31 years old from Boston, and Steve is 31 years old from Florida. That is the full prompt that I gave it. I gave it nothing else.
All you told the computer to write.
Just write a podcast, write a sketch, a comedy sketch with these two podcasters from Boston, Florida. Right. Went to Boston College. So it gave back our info, and I will read the narrations, and then Steve and I will read our parts. Okay.
It gave back conversation.
It gave back a
so we're going to read
it.
We're going to read the script. It's and a disclaimer to anyone who just joined. It's terrible. It's so cringy and so weird. So I hope that someone doesn't just like click a random spot and hear us talking like this.
We'll make sure we give a disclaimer at the end too.
But we're gonna read it as if this was the script we were given, and this is how we're doing it. So,
all right. So the title is "The Boston Bumble: A Wicked Podcast Adventure."
Are you gonna talk in a Boston accent?
Probably not. I'll do what it tells. I'll do the way it tells me to talk. Okay. So, interior podcast studio, daytime. The studio is set up with microphones, headphones, and recording equipment. Derek, a Boston native in his early 30s, and Steve, a Floridian in his early 30s, are sitting at the table ready to record their podcast. Here's when the dialogue starts. Welcome back, folks. You're tuning in to the Boston Bumble with your hosts, Derek and Steve. How's it going, Steve?
Hey, Derek. Can you believe it's been 10 years since we graduated from Boston College? Time flies faster than a seagull chasing a lobster roll.
Tell me about it. It's been a wild ride, my friend. A wicked adventure from Boston to Florida and back again.
That's right, Derek. You're a true Bostonian, born and bred. Meanwhile, I'm a Floridian who got lost in the land of Dunkin and Lobsters.
Lost? Nah, you just took a wrong turn and ended up in the promised land. Boston's got history, culture, and the best clam chowder in the world.
Oh, I'm sorry, Derek. I didn't realize clam chowder could be a religious experience.
Don't mess with clam chowder, Steve. It's a sacred bond between a Bostonian and their taste buds.
Well, I must admit, Derek, you've taught me a thing or two about the joy of accentuating every R and embracing the word wicked.
That's the spirit. You've come a long way, my friend. Remember when we first met at Boston College? You were the guy wearing flip-flops in a snowstorm.
Yeah, I learned the hard way that frostbite and flip-flops don't mix. But hey, I brought a little sunshine to your snowy world.
That you did, Steve. And you taught me that not everything has to be Dunkin' Donuts and clam chowder. I learned to appreciate palm trees and sunshine.
And I learned that when someone says, park your car in Harvard Yard, they're not just messing around with you. It's an actual challenge.
The joys of Boston parking. It's a real-life Tetris game.
You know, Derek, Even though we're from different worlds, our friendship and shared experiences at Boston College make our podcast unique. The Boston Bumble brings together the best of Boston and the Sunshine State.
Absolutely, Steve. And that's what makes it special. So let's keep spreading the laughter, the wickedness, and the love for our beloved alma mater. The narrator then says, they both raise their microphones, ready to dive into another episode of the Boston Bumble. Fade out. Good, nice job. Nice job, Chat GPT.
So I will say that was so hard to read because it's so cringy. And I hope that people listening knew that it was hard to read. It was not fun. That being said, it says things
It does,
that could be used as a talking point. It says, I got lost in the world of Dunkin and Lobsters. Like,
that's like
I
a cultural
did.
reference. Like,
I do love Dunkin. That's true. Like, that's, yeah. Like, I could take that. Like, I think we could take this script and use it as a template and make it better. You know,
Yeah.
I could write, meanwhile, I'm a Floridian, got lost in the Dunkin'. You could say, like, lost in Dunkin' sauce. You know, just like say, you can change it to be funnier, but it hits points.
yeah.
Clam chowders, religious experience, flip-flops in the snowstorm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's very cringy and like clearly not there yet for the intricacies of like the way humans interact, right?
No.
But like, I didn't give it anything. You know, like
Right.
I didn't give it any. I didn't like tell it to like, you know, have like playful banter back and forth or like to use cultural references. Like I just said that I was from Boston and you were from Florida.
Right.
Like, you know,
It made us
and,
really like each other. There's a point where it says, but hey, I brought a little sunshine to your snowy world.
That is true. That is true.
I think this AI thinks we're closer than we are.
Yeah, it does. And like, you know, the Boston parking reference. It's like, I mean, you know,
How does an AI know what a car is? What?
yeah, and
Or
and that everybody says park your car in Harvard Yard, but like it's taking this well-known phrase and it's making a joke about it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's
Right.
just
So
yeah.
do you think it's just taking from like other jokes, or like how does it know park your car in Harvard Yard is also Boston parking's hard, and also Tetris is like parking? Like, how does it make those connections?
Yeah, like it connects this like Boston accent joke. Like if you were categorizing jokes, right? That is a Boston accent joke. That has nothing to do with parking. Like only that the phrase "park your car" is in the phrase, right? But the joke itself, and if you search for that on the internet, it would be about the fact that it's a Boston accent joke, right?
Right.
And then, you know,
like 99% of the information. Yeah, 99% of the information fed into this AI from PocketCon Harvard Yard is make fun of Boston accents, not also attribute it to Boston parking and a video
difficult.
game Tetris. Yeah.
Yeah. Because like you could also just look at the phrase "park your car" is in the phrase, right? So yeah, you could make a joke about parking, but then tie it to the fact that parking in Boston and at Harvard would be hard, right? That like, and so there, you know, there's a lot of impressive stuff that goes on with this. Obviously,
how long did it take to generate once you typed
seconds.
in that prompt? It just boop shot this out.
It writes it out like as you do it. It's like the amount of time it would take for just like populating like a command prompt or something like faster than human typing, but just like it displays as it writes it, and it in total that probably took 10 seconds for it to write. So
Tell it to write the Taco Bell news segment.
yeah, I know. Oh, sorry, I was behind there. There we go. Yeah, I mean, so this is not our last interaction with Chat GPT. I will be trying to find creative ways, but you're right though. There are good uses to get you started. Put it that way. Like, you know, you could get some good ideas from it for sure.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm telling you, like the way my mind works, if you gave me this prompt, I'd say this is so dumb and not funny, but I see the bones of jokes. I see the bones that we could make better.
right.
It's
It's interesting. So cringy but wild is kind of the way we described it
Cringy
earlier.
but wild.
That's kind of what it is.
Just like
you don't
Doug
have to
Gray.
worry about it
That's
taking your
nuts.
job yet, but it might reduce your job a little.
Yeah. Oh god.
So there you go.
They could write. I'm gonna. This
Yeah,
thing's
play around with
coming
it. I mean,
Things
yeah.
coming for my job.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's still there's a lot of like moral and legal. Like someone's going to decide what's legal and not.
That's true.
It can't
That's
decide
true.
that. Like,
Maybe it already has. Maybe we're so far
Yeah,
in the
true.
future that we are already
That's a good
living in
point.
Chat GPT's future.
That's a good point. Could be. So that's it on AI. Anything else you want to touch on there? We'll be revisiting that, I think, as we have more ideas about it. But
The Boston Bumble.
the Boston Bumble, I don't.
So
yeah,
dumb.
very weird.
No, this has made me like. It was so dumb, but it also made me a little nervous. A little nervous. A little scared.
Yeah. All right. Weird vibes.
Weird
coming
vibes.
From
Weird vibes
ChatGPT.
from AI. Don't know how I feel.
All right. So that moves us from AI into the final segment here, which surprisingly is me bringing this up. I think, I don't want to speak too soon. I think this is the first time in our podcast history that I am the one adding this to the agenda. Like, maybe it's a win. I'll consider it a win, I guess. I like beat you to one of these. I don't know.
Yeah,
but we have
works for me.
officially, we have some Taco Bell news to share. So,
Ooh. And you did it right on time.
I know, I was the one who said it, so I was ready.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
So in today's Taco Bell news,
Now you're a little early.
So that was a little early. Taco Bell is fighting the Taco Tuesday trademark. So I think we've talked about this before, but Taco John's, which Steve, are you familiar with Taco John's?
No.
It is a Midwest taco restaurant, like a chain.
Sounds
The
terrible.
Taco Bell of the
Taco
Midwest.
John's.
Taco John's. I believe that's the name of it.
Sounds like
Taco
like a
John's.
Connecticut taco place.
So Taco Bell, I'm just going to read you from the article. Taco Bell wants to liberate the Taco Tuesday trademark from a smaller rival chain. The taco chain filed a petition on Tuesday, with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office to cancel the trademark owned by rival Taco John's for 34 years because Taco Bell claims the commonly used phrase, quote, should be freely available to all who make, sell, eat, and celebrate tacos. Since Taco John's owns the trademark, other restaurants and companies must seek permission to use Taco Tuesday in branding and advertising. The best quote here before I wrap it up from Taco Bell in the lawsuit or in their press release, whatever. I don't know if it's officially lawsuit territory yet. The use of the phrase, quote, potentially subjects Taco Bell and anyone else who wants to share tacos with the world to the possibility of legal action or angry letters if they say Taco Tuesday without express permission from Taco John's, simply for pursuing happiness on a Tuesday. That's in the Taco Bell statement. Yes.
I'm all for
so
it.
Taco Bell's coming they're coming. And
first of all,
yeah.
Taco Tuesday is not a trademarkable. I mean, I'm sure it was trademarked officially, but
yeah,
it's transcended its original patent. I would say that we are in public utility, public good territory right now. This is a good fight for Taco Bell to take up. And the hilarious thing is, it's obviously, it's great press, we're going to fight for Taco Tuesday. It's Taco Tuesdays for everyone, blah, blah, blah. They're paying some lawyers a lot of money to do this.
Yeah.
And the lawyers are taking it real seriously. Like, I can see me behind a desk like, gotta get the thing out on Tuesday.
This would be your dream case. This is like
oh my God, imagine I could make my career off this case. This would be me. Just the taco lawyer? Just the taco lawyer?
Yeah. It could be you. I think you got to reach out. You got to at least ask. Be like, hey, I'll do this pro bono for you. You got to let me. You got to let me.
Taco Tuesday is for everyone.
So, it is. I agree. So
that is hilarious.
So there you go. There's your Taco Bell news for the day. Anything else you want to add, Steve? Anything else?
No. Good job with Taco Bell news, Derek.
Absolutely. Anytime. So that brings us into the final drive, which, for your information, Steve, the music will not play on the final drive. I got to add that at the end. But
thanks for letting me know on the podcast.
So final drive, you want to go first, you want to go second, or you want to go third, Steve?
You're right. We've definitely done this.
Choose two
You've said
numbers.
that. You've said that before. I want to go first and second.
First and second. All right, you got it.
I have two today, but they're two short ones that probably should have been in pop culture. Just the first thing, Ted Lasso season 3. If you're watching it, more power to you because it is terrible. It is
Yikes.
so bad. I feel like they're making fun of me. Like I feel like I'm watching and I'm like, they think I'm stupid. I watched one season of this. The first season was good. Not great. It's good. It's unique and funny. Oh, look. Ted Lasso is so quirky. Season 2, they obviously didn't know where they were going. Set up some decent storylines. Like, okay, I guess I see what they're doing. Season 3 is like, it might as well have been written by a 10th grader. Like, it is so... It's pandering, and it's not funny. The wrong people have too much airtime. The jokes are bad. I didn't finish. I watched the first 3 episodes. I was like, I can't do this.
Wow.
It's so bad. Wow. So Ted Lasso season 3. Ted Lasso's in the trash. Don't watch it.
0%.
0%. Did not DNF. Did not finish.
Wow.
On the opposite side of the spectrum, go read a book. Go read Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I don't think I did a cozy book corner for Song of Achilles, even though I should have. So good. So good. And what reminded me of it is Troy. Remember the movie Troy?
Yeah.
It's a great movie. Great movie. It's basically a retelling of the Battle of Troy and Achilles and his like lover and he's the greatest warrior of all time. Really, really good. Great book from beginning to end. It's definitely like a fiction. It's my kind of novel, like Greek mythology, bit fantasy, but not really, like gods and mythology.
Yep.
So good. Song of Achilles, Madeline Miller. If you're opposite side of the spectrum, Tomorrow is very much like a human interest, friendship and love and blah, blah, blah. Song of Achilles, battles and war and gods and like the movie Troy, but better in a book. So those are my two. Probably should have been in Cozy Book Corner, but whatever.
Hey, whatever. Deal with it. Deal with it, people.
Yeah,
it's the final drive. We get to choose.
My final drive. My two final drive.
There you go. So my final drive will also be quick, but it's a quick little shout out to what was a social media find that we ended up trying last week for those of you that have air fryers. So Steve, it's a little, the little ramekins like that you make like a creme brulee in, like the white like creme
like
brulee dish.
Yes, I know the dish.
Yeah. I
didn't know it's called
one
a
of
ramekin.
those. Yeah, it's called The more you know, right? Like that. That's what it's called. So.
Gosh, you are in the suburbs.
Super easy s'mores dessert, right? Take some chocolate chips on the bottom, then you put some marshmallows on top of it, and some more chocolate chips on top of that. Pop it in the air fryer for like 5 or 6 minutes. Like kind of, you can play it by ear. Once it gets like kind of gooey and the marshmallows get a little golden, right? You take it out, you let it cool for a minute. You take some graham crackers, and you'd use the graham crackers to dip it like dip. And it's like a s'mores dip, and it takes like 2 seconds. Like,
how to hook me.
And it's got a little dish. Give it a try. I'm telling you, give it a try. Saw a viral video on it, and it looked delicious, so we tried it out. Very good. You got make sure the chocolate melts, because if the chocolate doesn't melt, then it's like kind of too hard to scoop it. But
do you need a ramekin? Did you have ramekins? Did you have one?
We got some, yeah, for $5. At Wegmans they had some $5 ramekins. But no, you could probably use something else. But you want it to be a small thing, because you don't want it to spread like too much. Because then unless you're gonna make a ton of it, you can make a big thing of it if you want. But I recommend a small one, because once it hardens, it's gonna not be very good. Once the chocolate unmelts, like gets back to room temperature and starts to harden up again, it won't be as good as a dip.
So I think that's great final drive. The thing that it triggers in my head, the more interesting piece, is that you can put glass in the air fryer.
Porcelain. Yeah, it's like, so certainly make sure that it's like an oven safe one. But a lot of those are like I think for those specific ones, that's why I was saying creme brulee. Like I think you bake like things in those little dishes. So like those are safe to be. But yes, disclaimer: make sure you're using something that is safe for the air fryer.
Yeah. But you have to do that with the air fryer.
Yeah. So give it a try. You gotta get creative with the uses. So. Cool. So there you go. So there's my final drive. And that'll do it for episode 171. Thanks to Rob for the excellent question, and of course to Murph for providing us with the reunion shout out that we gave him.
And thanks to the almighty AI
and the almighty Chat GPT for providing us with the
when the robots take
comedy. over.
Remember, I was on your side, AI.
Remember this moment. Yeah. Remember, you liked us. You talked about us with Lobsters and Dunkin and everything.
Yeah.
So that'll do it for episode 171. We'll see you guys next time on episode 172.
Later days.